short. They go through generations so fast. Like, I mean, also they use a lot of like fruit flies and stuff like that in genetic research. And one of the reasons that is beneficial is the life cycle is so short.
Okay.
So if you do genetic modification and you're using fruit flies, you have confused look on your face.
Well, how short? They're like, what is their? Oh, right. I heard that on radio last.
It's like 2 to 3 weeks. It's
okay.
like 2 to 3 weeks. So if you're measuring time or, I don't know, some sort of relative success of a species, you could do something like, how many years have they been on the Earth? Okay? And it's like, oh, birds have been here this long, Homo sapiens have been here this long, reptiles, they've been here for a really long time. Microorganisms, obviously they got us trumped. But there's not really that sort of level of evolution with microorganisms because of the simplicity of it. That's actually what I was going back to with insects, is they're relatively simple, but they're also relatively complex. They might hit something of a sweet spot where they're going through generations and generations where there's the greater capacity for evolution and genetic diversity, genetic mutation even, or things where you can have additions to, and abundance too. Like insects lay eggs, thousands of eggs usually, and so you just have this flush abundance of 10,000 children or something like that. And go forth into the big world, the large world, the world that is literally hundreds, if thousands of times larger than it is for us relative human beings. Like, go, locusts, go, swarms of insects, go, reap the rewards of niche and such. So, they go through an evolutionary process much quicker than, say, a larger animal like the Homo sapien. And they only need to get small amounts of energy, small little niches of energy, of some sort of economic exchange with environment or something like that. What was my point? Wait, let me think of what my point was. My point was this. If you were going to talk about relative success of different species and stuff like that, you could say, how long have we been on the Earth? Or you could say, how diverse has your path of evolution been? And it's not really a path. I mean, you can pick a path, and that's really just picking a circuitous route of branches up until you became a killer bee. I'm a killer bee.
Right.
I'm a killer bee.
Or like an Argentinian ant.
Or an Argentinian ant. I am an Argentinian ant. But that's not necessarily, that's the success of Argentinian ants. As opposed to talking about the branch of insects. The branch of insects has so many more leaves than probably most any other branch on the tree of life. Maybe that's what I'm going at. And maybe that's a measure of, it's really not a measure of success, it's an observation of what occurs. How long can you be alive as you are? It just means that ecologic niche has been there for it's always been there. It's been there for a very long time. And you've found the structure, type, behavior, in which you continue to utilize the energy inherent in that system and buck the trend of somebody else trying to, weasel in on your energy, on your food.
I see.
Whatever, you've sufficiently been successful enough that you're always going to get something out of that trough. That's a measure of success too. In the sense that it's a successful design. So far, it's a very successful design.
Others might have successful designs to do the same thing, but you've had that design and it's worked long enough that you're still around, you know. You're still working the Model T or the, I don't know, whatever. Blah 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 blah. There were some